Right here, out. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on? This is your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Welcome back to the Main Thing Podcast presents, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you're home for all your Eagles talking, things that actually matter, you feel me? Big week for Philly, even on a bye week. We got emotional news around the league, some key injury updates, and a playoff picture that suddenly looks very green, if you catch my feeling. Now, we'll start with the retirement and kind of move through everything until we you know what I mean, get to the meat and potatoes. But before we do that, please make sure that you're commenting, liking, and more than anything, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss when me and Mr. Owens drop new videos for y'all. So let's start by saying, hey, farewell to a champion, Rick Lovato. My man retires, man. Former Eagle long snapper Rick Lovato officially retired after 11 seasons in the NFL. 9 of them where? In Philly, baby. Okay. Help our team win 2 Super Bowls, one as a player, one as part of the staff's legacy. Underrated hero of consistency and culture. Never flashy, not a name you heard a lot, but one of the most reliable special teams players in the league and that we've had during our last kind of decade. Think about how many games, have come down to big kicks, clean snaps, those clutch moment plays. Lovato gave the Eagles stability that the fans we almost took for granted. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't a name that you heard throughout your household. You know what I mean? Like the AJ Browns and the Jalen Hurts. He was a glue guy, kept it together, right? So enjoy your retirement, Rick. One of the quiet, consistent Eagles of our dynasty era. Much love. I hope the second half of your career is just as blessed as the first one was. A little bit more tragic news. We don't talk about Dallas a lot on this channel, but there's some sad news that happened earlier today. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Keelan passed away following a police chase. Look, man, we sometimes forget that these guys are humans too. I mean, we see them on a Thursday or Monday or Sunday, whatever it is, out there playing ball, catching passes, getting sacks, whatever the case may be, and we're all in. We forget these guys have families, you know, a life outside of football. So to see this happen to this young man who was only 24 years old, still very young, very tragic. Uh, our love, our prayers, condolences go out to the Nealon family. I know that this is tough for you all. Um, I'm just praying that you all find a way to get past this. Look, mental health is wealth, and it's something that we've got to talk about, especially in high pressure environment like the NFL. You've heard various NFL players come out and talk about it. I know AJ Brown has mentioned it several times. Look, there's resources and things that for you for folks who are feeling that maybe there is no way out or they need further help. You know what I mean? Trying to get through things. We all look, life is hard. Life is hard. As many ups as there may be, there are also a lot of downs. So sometimes people need a hand picking them up and you know what I mean, kind of pointing them in the right direction. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Now on to some better news. Let's get back to our Eagles news. You feel me? Now look, despite not playing in week 9, the Eagles still in the top of the NFC standings for real. It's crazy. Bye week, and we won it. The upsets helped, excuse me. The Packers lost to the Panthers. You had the Lions who fell to the Vikings. Then our NFC cohorts, what do you call it? You had the Giants, probably lost to San Francisco. You had the Commanders who lost to the Seahawks. Then you had the Cowboys who had lost to the Cardinals. So it was a great day if you were a Philly fan. But now the record wise, we're tied with the Bucks, but we own the head to head since we beat them in week 4. So, hey, we're number one in NFC East, and we're number one in the NFC, and that number one seed. Look, for once, we control our own destiny. It's not just where they are, it's kind of how they got here. This is the mid-season point, getting healthy again, getting rested, and ready to host, man, this Monday night game versus the Green Bay Packers, man. So, but me and Mr. Owens will have a video about that to kind of discuss that further with you all. But things are pointing in the right directions for the Eagle flock over here. With some more good news, we have some roster moves and injury updates. Nolan Smith, his practice window was open and is expected to play versus the Packers. He had a tricep injury that had injured him since week 3. We have not had Nolan Smith for close to 5-6 weeks now. So they have him back in the rotation where he has that speed, that toughness, just that energy to the defense will be crucial, right? So now our edge rotation with some new additions kind of looks like Nolan Smith, Jalen Phillips, who I expect big things from him, Jalix Hunt, we love him, our very own Brandon Graham, and then Josh Uche. That's a solid edge rotation for the Eagles, right? We have the ability to send waves. I believe that Jalen Phillips and Nolan Smith will complement each other very well. Once again, Nolan, the speed rusher, Jalen Phillips, more of that power rusher. You can kind of mix them up and do some freaky things with them along that defensive line. But this is much needed juice to Fangio's scheme. A player who's angry in the best of possible ways, just big energy guy. Now, Patrick Johnson, he was released and then re-signed. And we initially waived him from the roster for a little bit of flexibility, but then brought him back to the Packers practice squad. He's been a solid special teams contributor and a rotational edge option. I've been big on Patrick Johnson. Me and Mr. Owens both really have been big on PJ since his rookie year when we drafted him. Another lunch pail glue kind of guy. Won't be your flashy name, but one of your elite edge rushers, but you will always get 110% out of this guy. His motor is always running. Nothing but love for PJ. So I'm glad we were able to bring him back to the practice squad. Then you have Willie Lampkin, interior lineman returning from IR. Could add depth behind Brett Toth, who's been starting at center while Cam Jurgens is nursing his knee injury. Lampkins is a little undersized, but highly rated for his leverage and film discipline. Might see some action Monday if Jurgens isn't ready. We'll see how that goes. Or we might just, mix him in the rotation. Now, some other IR in depth updates. You have Marcus Epps and Aziz Ujulari. They were both placed on IR. So the Eagles are reshuffling the bottom of the roster for practice squads and things of that nature, preparing for the playoff stretch. Now that brings us kind of up to date to Thursday's practice. This is now I believe second report that we've had from them, I believe this week. But your did not practices, your DMPs, Cam Jurgens, knee, did not practice. Limited, you had Adoree Jackson and Moro Jomo, who are both kind of working their way back from concussions. Our full participants, which this is great to see because we know he's been dealing with a hamstring. A.J. Brown, man, swole Batman's back in the fold, so expect to see him Monday for sure. Saquon Barkley, good to see that he's a full participant. In the Giants game, man, went for a $150 on them boys, but kind of later in the game, kind of came up a little gimp on like a 10, 15-yard scamper, so good to see that he was a full participant. We spoke on Nolan Smith. He's back. Jacorian Bennett is back, so that's adding some cornerback depth to the roster. Then we have Willie Lampkin, right? So good news. Only one DMP, right? But no need to rush him back. Brett Toth played excellent in Cam Jurgens' absence. So Cam, baby, take all the time you need. Really get right for that playoff stretch when we go hoist this Lombardi. You feel me? So A.J. Brown is back, ready to play. You feel me? Saquon Barkley also expected to go. So that 1-2 punch that we were hoping for should be in full effect versus the Packers, and that is Tank Bigsby and Saquon Barkley. I believe that they really complement each other well. And then the Fangio defense gets some depth back with Bennett and Smith. Now, we spoke on Cam. We have to keep an eye on him. If you don't hear anything, probably, I believe, by Saturday, 4 o'clock, about him being elevated or being a full participant, more than likely Cam will be a DMP uh, or inactive for the game on Monday. Now let's talk about the new guy, man, Jalen Phillips. Right? Let's talk a little film talk. For those who missed it, we acquired him from the Dolphins for a 2026 third round pick. Right? Former first round pick, elite athletic traits. Excuse me, but my man's coming off an Achilles injury in 2023. He had an ACL in 2024. My man's been a little banged up these past couple years, right? But when he was under Fangio, I believe it was in 2023, he really blossomed prior to getting hurt. And Fangio knows him. Him and Fangio have a great relationship. Fangio knows his strengths, his limitations, what he can and cannot do. And that's what you expect out of a coach. You want to know your players. You want to know their strengths, their weaknesses, so you know how to better deploy them and put them in the best position to go out there and succeed, right? So, as far as film breakdown goes on Mr. Phillips, who's now rocking the 5-0, we'll talk about some number changes later, but explosive first step. To be a guy who's 270 pounds, 280 pounds, he has a great first step and forces tackles to open up early, right? Kind of putting them on their heels a little bit. Smart with his hand usage and inside counters. He has a couple moves that are go-to moves, right? He's not thinking about it. It's second nature. And that's what you want from your edge rusher. You don't want him going out there and having to think too much. You want him going out there and reacting and being that elite athlete that he is. He's great on stunts and loops, which fits what Fangio likes to do perfectly, right? We see JC and Jalen, some of these guys stunting and looping around, trying to get clean, so they can go sack the quarterback. Does that very well. So I expect a lot of that from him. Now his weakness, and this is something that we'll have to coach out on, especially coming into this Philly culture, finishing plays. Has to learn to finish plays, right? That's just a must. You don't want to go 10 yards. You want to run through the line. So finish plays and still regaining some flexibility after the injury. Some people have said he's still not 100% back coming off both injuries. And you kind of expect that. It takes time. ACL and Achilles, those are big injuries. So even though he's not 100%, my man has still been very effective in this 2025 season. Now, why he's a good fit in Philly? He brings burst, speed. No one else in our current rotation really has the combination of both. You're either speed or your power. My man has the ability to switch it up, which is going to both great for his career as far as how he can attack these tackles and whatnot. And it allows Fangio to get him back to rushing four and keeping coverage tight. Fangio doesn't really want to have to blitz if he doesn't have to. He would rather like to see that front four, those two ends, those tackles, eat versus having the blitz. And now you're taking people out of coverage, leaving you a little bit more prone to gaps and holes within your passing scheme, right? Potentially the most talented pure edge rusher that we have on this roster. If I'm being completely honest, Nolan is more of a high effort guy. Not saying that Jalen isn't. He's just more of a fluid rusher. Someone who, like I said, already has moves in their bag, in their arsenal. You don't have to teach them too many moves, too many counters to their moves. Just in case that first move doesn't work, I have a plan B, I have a plan C. He has a couple options in his bag as far as rushing the quarterback goes. Right now, Fangio then came back, as he said, spoke on how him and Jalen Phillips have a good relationship, and then he kind of gave some cornerback room clarity, right? Fangio praised Cooper DeJean. We all know, man, Coop, one of them ones, calling him one of the best nickels in the league. I see no argument there. I believe that he has proved that in these 2 years that he's been in the league that Coop it is an elite slot cornerback. But the DeJean's versatility allows the Eagles to move pieces around. And he can play corner, he can play nickel, he can play safety. When you have different chess pieces, it allows you to disguise things. Your defense doesn't always look the same. Quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage, he looks over, he's like, I'm expecting this player to be to my right all the time. When he's not, oh shoot, he's on the left now. What are they doing now? It's just giving them something else to think about. Versatility is key, especially within the Fangio defense. All right, but then you've also had recent trades of Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II, who give them a little bit more flexibility. Now, Alexander, he primarily plays outside corner. Carter, on the other hand, has played a little outside corner, has mainly played a lot of slot, but also can play a lot of safety as well. So we could get those two in and kind of mismatch things. Might cause some confusion for opposing offenses. The Gene's ability to roam all over the field and make impact plays, hey, top tier. Top tier. Right? He really is. He truly is a chess piece. Right? But Fangio later spoke. He spoke on Coop. He later spoke a little bit on Keely Ringo, talking about he needs reps and he has his instincts have to come with time. Instincts usually come from just a lot of reps. I've seen this passing concept before. I've seen this formation. Right? It allows you to play a little bit faster. I guess those one of the things. Although Keely Ringo coming from the University of Georgia, you would think that he might have already had those, being the high-profile athlete that he was. But that's something that he's going to have to grow with. Physically, Keely has it, but it is the instinctual plays, right? Knowing when to flip my hips, knowing when to come downhill on a run and not bite on whatever, the offense is trying to give you. It's a deep, young, and athletic secondary now, and Fangio has some pieces to play with, so I'm very interested to see how he deploys this unit, what this unit will look like versus the Packers. But with the additions of a Jair Alexander, with the additions of a Michael Carter II, our defense and our defensive backcourt really just got that much better, especially with that CB2 battle kind of still up in the air. If you want to be honest, we'll see who really takes it. Maybe Jair takes it. We'll see. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Jacorian Bennett comes out and shows us something. We still haven't really seen a lot from him. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, the Eagles enter Week 10 as number 1 seed in NFC. Did we expect anything different? I mean, really, though, these are the birds we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. So, us being a number 1 seed, that ain't nothing new to this. We true to this. You feel me? But they're rested. They're reloaded. The health is trending up, and I think that's a big, big thing for us. Unfortunately, this year, we have been bitten by the injury bug a lot. Luckily, it's been nothing really too long-term in a lot of these cases, but it's been a nagging thing. The roster is getting stronger, and Howie Roseman is still being Howie, wheeling and dealing, ski mask. You know how he gets down. Philly fans, we get to enjoy it from the top view, right? I don't want to say we live uncomfortable, but we sitting on the throne. But sometimes you sitting on the throne, you become complacent. So we have to make sure that we stay hungry. The second half of the season, it starts on Monday. It starts on Monday versus them Packers. And the Packers, once again, I might say this every week, but I mean this every week. They're looking like food. They just lost to the Panthers. They can only put up 13 points on the Panthers. So they're looking like food right now. If we can come in, everybody get on their ding, do their 111, do your job, get some of these new players up to speed to allow them to play just that much faster, it should be scary hours for the league. And scary hours for the Packers come Monday night. They don't want this smoke. They don't want this smoke. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that this is A1 information that I'm about to give you here right now. Your boy Nick Sirianni is undefeated coming out of a bye. So I expect greatness from management, coaching staff, and players alike coming next week. Look, now, as far as the videos go, expect another video this Friday, kind of detailing the injury report, things of that nature. And then me and Mr. Owens get to put out our preview video for the game on Monday. So expect that this weekend, excuse me. But I hope everyone's having a great week, right? Stay blessed, stay safe. Mental health is wealth. If you don't know, this is the Main Thing podcast, man. And I go by Big Huss, the one you trust, talking everything Philly. Flag will fly till we die. We love y'all. We appreciate the support. Till next time. Go Birds.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chaser.